before you hit the street.
No problem. KOR Sports, right here with the one and only Abel Sanchez. Man, tell me, obviously today, ruling came down from the IBF. Apparently they're going to strip Triple G. What are your thoughts on that whole situation?
That's ignorance. You know, there's few fighters in our history that come along that can unify a division. The Grady Evander Holyfield did it, Bernard Hopkins did it, and I think that for the IBF not to have, or for any organization not to have any kind of leniency towards that kind of accomplishment for our sport, for their sport.
No.
I believe it's kind of ignorant, against any kind of history for our sport.
Have you talked to Triple G about it? I mean, is there like obviously I'm sure you guys have discussed the possible options of losing the belt.
Actually, what happened was I saw it on the internet, and within an hour I had 3 or 4 calls from somebody telling me that it happened.
Right.
You know, I was there at the hearing. I think that everybody loses. I think that the IBF has been very unfair with their champion, starting with the Dominic Wade fight that they forced us to take because Teron Johnson got hurt. Then the Danny Jacobs weigh-in that they didn't enforce, and then now this fighting having a mandatory against a guy that or for a guy that's his last fight was an 8-round fight against a 22 and 23 fighter, and he couldn't stop him until the 6th round. You know, sometimes you have to be a little smarter than that, in my opinion. Anyway,
I want to say he only has like 12 fights, right, or total, or something like that.
So not only does the IBF lose because they're losing a great champion, but Derevchenko loses the opportunity to fight one of the best middleweights in the world.
Yesterday, Oscar came out saying that the train has moved on. He's going to Danny Jacobs, supposedly to send a contract over to Danny Jacobs. What's your thought on that whole thing?
I wish him luck.
Yeah.
I wish him luck. But what I do wish is that they wouldn't negotiate this fight in social media. You know, it's nobody's business what these 2 young men are going to make, Canelo or Golovkin. I think that the 2 principals should get together and iron it out and decide whether they're going to fight or not. And if they do, great. And if they don't, it's between them. Nobody needs to know how much money you make or how much I make. The IRS is the only one that should be entitled to that. But because of that, everybody has an opinion on what should be. But those people with an opinion have no clue what they want.
Does Triple G losing the IBF belt, do you feel that changes negotiations at all for Canelo Triple G? I mean,
you know, I don't know. I'm not on that end of it. I'm on the training end of it. When they decide and when they consult with me on who I think is a better fight, and we make a date and we decide to come to camp 10 weeks before the fight, then that's my job. You know, that part of it, I'm glad that I don't have nothing to do with that because there's a lot of political stuff that goes on that I don't have to be involved in.
If Canelo were to fight Jacobs,
tough fight.
It is a tough fight. I've had fans tell me that they feel like Jacobs maybe even should be favored in that fight, but you guys beat Jacobs.
Yeah.
So
we beat Jacobs and we beat who's the other guy that they're talking about fighting? Both guys. We beat both guys, I should say. Golovkin beat Canelo and didn't get it, and he beat Jacobs for sure. But it's unfortunate that the boxing world and the parties just can't come to an understanding for what's best for the sport. I think that Golovkin has been adamant about what he said. Canelo also, but fighting Jacobs takes a chance of making a third, a fourth of what he's going to make with Golovkin. Obviously, Golovkin will make more fighting Canelo than he would somebody else, but it's not so much about the money. It should be about sport, and it should be about ironing out things that was left unanswered in the last fight for a lot of people.
No, of course, obviously, us as boxing fans, we all would prefer the rematch over almost anything else, pretty much. But just if Jacobs Canelo were to happen, I don't know. What's your opinion on that? How does that play?
I think it's a close fight, and I think it's a fight that could be a very close fight. Jacobs comes like he came against Golovkin in that kind of shape, in that kind of attitude, in that kind of ferocity that he fought Golovkin with. No, he has a good chance of upsetting the apple cart, and then everybody loses. The boxing world loses. And they'll continue to fight. but they'll continue to fight lesser guys. Not so much the money, but just the chance to fight the best of the eras. You know?
Right. I agree with you. I hopefully it can get ironed out and we do see it in September. Thank you so much for your time, man. Thomas, I mean, you had a successful night. Congratulations again. Dennis won. Your other dude won. I mean, tell us about that real quickly.
Well, first of all, Sergey's a young kid that only has 9 fights. The first fight, 154-pounder. He did very well. He followed instructions. He did what he normally does and wear people down and hit him to the body and stops them. Dennis had a little mover in there that gave him a little time, but those are the kind of fights that he needs to stay sharp. Yeah. So hopefully we can get him a couple more wins and move him up the rankings and get him some kind of title shot.
Well, hopefully, man, next time I speak to you, the rematch is done deal and we don't keep having these run around conversations right here.
I hope so too. It's better for boxing.
Thank you so much, Abel. Appreciate your time, brother, as always.
All right.